Hey, unicorns, it's Ellie. What's it called? What am I trying to say? Oh my gosh, I'm trying. Lucy, I'm already struggling right now. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh my god. my quality might look a little. My quality might look a little differently. I found my iPhone. My husband was looking in the garage and he happened to come across my iPhone. So my quality is a lot better. I'm no longer using the other phone that I was using, even though it was okay. I like what is this? The iPhone 5S or something. The quality is just a lot better than that phone is. At least in my opinion, it is. So happy to have that quality back. Did I ever even use this phone to film? I think I use it for my vlogs and my other channel, but I don't think I ever used it on this channel, so you're seeing new quality. But for this video, this topic can be debatable sometimes, and that is who pays the closing costs. If you don't know, closing costs are the fees that the attorney pays for their services. They have to run a title search and they have to create the closing documents. They also process all the payments and they communicate with everyone. And they also handle any bumps in the road that may prolong the closing time and ability. For example, if there's a lien on the property, the attorney will have to negotiate with the lien holder in most cases. I had a situation like that once and we ended up not being able to close on the house because the lien was so large that it ended up messing up the numbers for everyone and there was no way to negotiate it down. It sucks when you have a really good deal and you have your buyer lined up and then boom! Something out of your control happens and then everything goes down the drain. But hey, you win some, you lose some. But that's basically what closing costs are for. Depending on who your attorney is and what services need to be done and how much the property is, closing costs can be anywhere from like $500 to $5,000. In some situations, I cover the closing costs for my sellers. When I first got started, and even now, I offer to pay the closing costs in the place of earnest money. The air just came on, so hopefully you can still hear me pretty well without, it's already raining. When you don't have much money in the beginning, you can't just go around gambling on properties that you're not even sure you can close on. So instead of saying no, just bring up that option instead. They usually agree and say yes. The only time I got a no was when a guy was trying to scam me into buying a property. He wanted me to give him $1,500 cash for the property without using a title company. Don't ever do that. It's really funny how he thought I would fall for it. But anyway, I still do it now because I find it a lot easier and it's better. And it's still that no money down benefit. But if someone does want earnest money, I'll put down like maybe $10 or something like that. If a seller knows what earnest money is, they're either experienced in real estate or they're trying to run a scam on you. The scam is when they want you to literally give them the money in hand. You never give them the money in their pocket. You always put the money in escrow at the closing attorney, so everything is documented and no one runs off with your cash. You can even do a $1 earnest money deposit. But regardless, you want to spend as less money as possible on something that never has a 100% chance of closing. You can also pay closing costs if you come to an agreement to do so for the seller's sake. Many people sell their homes due to crisis situations. In a lot of cases, we as wholesalers pay a few months of rent, moving costs, and closing costs for people who really need the money to move. That's just a nice gesture you can do. It's not a necessity, but it can help you close the deal a lot faster. If the seller can't close on the house because they have no money to move, that's preventing you from closing a deal with your buyer. So you can just sacrifice a bit of your assignment fee for the greater good. And then everyone wins in the end. It's moments like those where you really have to be grateful and not greedy. If you're greedy, you might not have even gotten the deal done. If the house is in pre-foreclosure and you're too greedy to cover the cost of whatever the seller may need, you both lose. And just put that into perspective, sometimes the seller can't get cash. Sometimes all the money goes into, like they might not have enough equity in their house for them to get money. All the money might go to their mortgage or to a lien or something like that where they won't have any money in hand. So the only cash that will be available to them is what's in your assignment or in your buyer's profit after they sell it or whatever. So they don't have the actual money. They're losing a property. It's basically what's going on with them, so they can't move if they don't have the cash. The seller loses their house and you lost out on a great opportunity. Remember that no assignment fee is yours until pen hits paper and check hits hand. Another situation I experienced where the seller just didn't want to pay the closing costs. He had sold me another house before, so I mean, he has a bunch of property, so it was just like, okay, whatever type thing. In that case, I would usually cover them, but my assignment fee was rather small in this case, so I came to an agreement with him. He would cover up to $500 of the closing costs, and I would cover the rest. I communicated this to the title company, and it was as simple as that. Now, would you ever pay closing costs for your buyer? I will eventually. If I have a buyer who buys 5 properties from me in a short amount of time, I'm going to do something to show my appreciation. It may seem small, but small gestures are what keep the relationships going. And that's if you aren't already showing like physical appreciation for your buyers. Some people send their buyers gift baskets or gift certificates or take them out to lunch. There's many things you can do to show your appreciation. You want to do as many deals as possible with this person or company. So you want more than just deals with them. Show them who you are and that you're not just somebody who pumps out deals. Sometimes we become dead in our craft, and then sometimes when we do things for other people, it brings us back to life. As I mentioned in my How to Find the Perfect Title Company video, you can require your buyers to use your title company if any fees are coming out of your assignment. I have a good relationship with my title company, so if I spend any money, I only want it to go to them and not another attorney. Hey, sorry for one. Hopefully my quality is better now, the focus, because I do have better quality, but I was out of focus in my previous clip, which was kind of embarrassing, the fact that I'm talking about better quality, but yeah, it happens. But also, my camera had filled up on space, so I had to stop filming at that time, dump out the footage that I had already had, and I'm back 2 days later. So yeah, that's why my hair is different, and that's why my shirt is different, and yep. But yes, like I was saying, if it comes down to it, you can use 2 title companies on the same deal, but I do not recommend it at all. But some people are just picky and they refuse to compromise. But really, what happens is this. The seller is represented by one closing attorney and the buyer is represented by the other closing attorney. The attorneys have to communicate with each other on every new discovery on that particular file. And then the attorneys have to communicate with their clients who are involved with the file. And as the wholesaler in the middle, you pretty much have to communicate with both attorneys. Otherwise, you could get lost out of the conversation. I don't know how often it happens, but it is possible for a wholesaler to get left out of a deal, whether it's by accident or not. Some title companies just don't handle wholesale deals all that well. I'm not sure why that is, but it just is. I suppose it's because it's more difficult to deal with the middleman or whatever. Or they're just unfamiliar with the process. It's really simple, but sometimes people like to overcomplicate things because it's new or it's different from what the typical thing would be. Because it's usually just seller and buyer, not wholesaler in the middle. Yeah, I think my shadows are what's making her do that. Okay. But yeah. And that can be a hassle sometimes, especially in a very complicated closing process. I try to avoid it at all costs, which is why I'm willing to pay the seller's closing costs to avoid dealing with 2 different title companies on the same deal. Wait, Ellie, wouldn't you rather go the cheaper route and not pay any closing costs? If it was the exact same process, sure, but it simply is not. It's much more complicated and not worth the money. It always takes up more time. I would rather pay for a smooth, fast transaction. But hey, that's me. You can do what you want. This is my channel, so I'm just sharing what my preferences are. I kind of like the subject of title work and closing companies. One of my next real estate videos might be the examination or analysis of a HUD document. And if you don't know what a HUD is a document that shows all the fees and where everything was dispersed. There's a lot more to it, but it's basically like a giant receipt. They can't just be like, okay, that'll be 123 Main Street for $49.99 plus tax, aka closing costs. Thank you for your time. I wish it was that simple, but it is not. Okay, Unicorns, that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said, I'm kind of liking the subject of title companies and closings. The next video, like I said, should probably be around that subject. And the next one, probably the next 3 to 4. You can get really, really deep in the subject of the title company by itself, because you know that's the very end. Sometimes it's not as simple as here's my contract, okay, here's your assignment fee. Sometimes it's like, hey, we gotta figure some stuff out because this property has this issue, or even it's just the seller trying to go around you or whatever, and you got to put a cloud on your contract and things like that. But yeah, comment. Wow, like she just is. Comment any questions you have down below, and I'll be sure to answer as many of them as possible. See you in the next one. Bye.